It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends it. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker, here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. We're also streaming on 1069thefan.com and on the 1069 The Fan mobile app. Take us with you wherever you are. And you can also listen to past episodes on our website and on our mobile app with our podcasts that we place there, or subscribe wherever you can find podcasts and search for the Full Court Press. My name, Jason's name. You'll find us. Lots of stuff there. Most everything that we produce is there. We had an issue last week where we had a great interview that just didn't get captured. That was a real bummer.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, the one day that it doesn't work.
Yeah, of course. That of all days.
Yeah. Anyway, it is working today. I did verify that as we got started. So we're good today. And for good reason. And we've got a big day today. Big announcement. It's official. At least the first part of the new media deal for the Pac-12 has been released. We'll get into that. What the release today says about the Pac-12's media future and a few other little nuggets that came about from that. Pac-12 Commissioner Teresa Gould appeared on a podcast, and so we were able to get some of the audio from that we'll share with you, what she has to say about this media deal and what's next for the Pac-12, because there are still plenty of future steps that need to be taken. And later on in the show, we'll get into the NBA. Their big trade over the weekend, the NBA Finals, and now we're just a few days away from the NBA draft. So still a lot going on the NBA calendar. And as always, if you want to weigh in on any of these topics, just text us on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 435-339-0321. And Jason, the big news hit this morning. We suspected it would come sometime before the end of June. The clock has been ticking on the Pac-12 for a long time. And finally, some movement on a number of issues that we've been waiting from the Pac-12. Mediation with the Mountain West. What is their new media deal going to look like? Who will be that 8th football playing school? Well, we've got part of one of those checked off the list.
Yeah, and rumors kind of heated up Sunday night. A bunch of people sending cryptic tweets saying, just reminding everyone that they know stuff. And so they knew that it was about to come down. The Pac-12 announcing part of the media deal. And of course, this is how it has to go, because apparently this is just the life in the Pac-12, because after being perpetually 2 weeks away for 6 months on a new media deal or a new announcement on membership, when we finally get some actual concrete, this is actually part of the media deal news, it's still only part of it.
It's still incomplete.
So somehow they've managed to both give people something, but also not give everyone what they want, which is the full media deal, the valuation, all the important stuff. We just have kind of this first little drip-feeded portion of the new media deal with the biggest, obviously the only news here is that CBS is the primary partner with the Pac-12 and what is technically an extension, since they're a partner this year with the Pac-12, but an extension long-term agreement with not just the current Pac-2, but with the future Pac-8/9, whatever the number is.
Yeah, they're calling it the CBS Sports, the primary long-term media partner for the new Pac-12. And it says in their release, with additional partners to be announced at a later date. And a lot of the speculation today is the reason the likely reason that the valuation of this deal was not announced is because they are still in negotiations with some of their other partners. And if they announce publicly what CBS is giving, then the other partners may adjust down, or they just might adjust what they're willing to offer for their own respective partnerships. But this deal begins in the 2026-27 academic athletics season and carries through the 2030-2031 season. So it's not very long, but that 2030, 2031, that's when a lot of extra stuff in college sports is going to be turned upside down. And so the Pac-12 is trying to position itself in a way that it can have flexibility when there's going to be a lot of new things in flux throughout college athletics.
Yeah, it's much like how the Mountain West back in 2020, they signed a media deal. And around the same time, the American, the AAC, they signed like a 12-year deal, which I think goes through around the similar time as this Pac-12 deal. But the Mountain West in 2020, they signed a deal that only goes through the end of this next season. So they signed like a 5-6-year deal, while one of their peers was signing a 12-year deal. But the logic behind that was the same as you just kind of outlined. When things start going down, they want to be able to have the flexibility. Now, it's not really working out super well for the Mountain West. Things didn't go their way, but that's not to say that things can't go the Pac-12's way in 2031/2032, around that time when, again, things are probably going to start kicking off once again. And who knows, that could be, if you're preying on the ACC's downfall, target that year. But obviously a lot of college football playoff stuff expected to change around that time as well, or at least be changing.
Teresa Gould appeared on the Y Formation podcast with Yogi Roth.
What is the Y Option podcast?
What is it?
Y Option?
Yeah, the letter Y Option.
I think you said Y Formation.
Oh, is it Y Formation?
Yeah.
Oh, Y Option.
Y
Sorry.
Option.
Y Option podcast with Yogi Roth this morning, shortly after this was announced. So this was planned.
Yeah.
And prearranged. But these are some of her comments about announcing CBS as the Pac-12's premier media partner.
I am just beyond thrilled to be in this place, to be able to announce CBS as our anchor partner for the new Pac-12 that'll be launching on July 1 of 2026.
Yeah, the premier anchor. And this is something that they talked about throughout, that this is a phased announcement. And as we've kind of alluded with the press release today, there will be other media partners announced, but this is significant that CBS is the main partner here. And for good reason. There's a lot of things that CBS has to offer. You've got the main free over-the-air legacy CBS, which a number of regular season games will appear on CBS. They will have the rights to the Mountain West Conference Football Championship game. They will also have the rights to the Men's Basketball Championship. And they will have games that will also appear on CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. So they've got a pretty good sports ecosystem that's already up and running, and in conjunction with some other pretty elite Power 4 conference schools that will be that these games from the Pac-12 will run alongside or immediately after.
Yeah, so let's go over some of the specifics real quick just to get an idea, and we can even compare them to how it worked with the Mountain West, because CBS was the primary, well, it still is the primary partner for the Mountain West, which adds another wrinkle to this, is how is this going to impact the Mountain West. But so as mentioned, there's going to be some games on CBS. There's a minimum of 3 football games on CBS and like the main CBS channel. And then a minimum of 3 regular season men's basketball games on that main CBS channel. As you mentioned, conference tournament title game, Mountain West football championship, the Pac-12 championship game. So the conference tournament and football championship game, both on the main CBS channel. After that, it's unsure because there's some undetermined number of games. And this is where like the impact of other media partners will come into play. Because with the Mountain West, obviously there's a lot more details on how many games are on CBS and CBS Sports Network. With the Pac-12, it's really open-ended. We know there's a minimum number of games going to appear on their kind of flagship channel, but there's a lot of filler with CBS Sports Network, but we don't know how many. but that's something that's going to be determined down the line. Who are the other, who are the secondary partners? Is it ESPN? Is it Fox? Is it Turner Sports? Is it the CW? That's where things are going to be found out later. Because right now we have very minimal details. But still, we do know that CBS is a primary partner. It's worked out pretty well for the Mountain West, and I have to imagine it's going to work out pretty darn well for the Pac-12.
Yeah, and just like we saw in the Mountain West, there'll be a good number of games on CBS Sports Network. This is the same thing here. Football, men's basketball games throughout the season will be there. But yeah, this is something that we discussed for quite some time before. This is an opportunity to get. There was debate about exposure versus the highest valued money that you could get out of a new media deal. We don't know the exact financial terms of this, but it does provide good exposure for the Pac-12. And with the changing landscape and with a short media window, with things that are going to dramatically change in about 5 years, you want to be in a position to have the greatest maximum exposure you can for your properties and your entities.
Yeah, and it seems like that's what they're going to be getting. With CBS, obviously, a lot of exposure. May not end up getting the highest valuation, may not get that, $15 million that I think the fans were hoping for. That's not, I'm just going to say it right now, that's not happening. It may not be on the low end of estimations, but I doubt it's going to be anywhere near those highest estimations and hopes. But you get a lot of exposure. And then, Paramount Plus seems to be one of the key streaming partners. Because I think one key, it's kind of a small thing, but I think it's really good to have a streaming option for basically all of the non-football and men's basketball sports, all the non-revenue sports as they get called, the Olympic sports. Because you want to be able to broadcast those out and give fans that option. And the Mountain West Network has functioned as that. It's done decently well enough. Others have like ESPN Plus, and maybe Paramount Plus will be that. I don't know if that's for sure going to be that. Because right now, all we know is that basically all these games that are on CBS, they're also going to be streamed live on Paramount Plus. Which, I don't know why. Like, are you going to turn on CBS or are you going to turn on Paramount Plus? Like, which one?
Well, for cord cutters or people who don't have
that's true.
An HD antenna that they put so they can get the free over-the-air TV, if they don't, if they're only subscription only, so then there are other ways for them to get their games. But if you're buying, YouTube TV or Fubo, you're going to get CBS. But if you don't pay for those, and maybe you have some other bundle, Paramount Plus for your entertainment, but other sports, it's another way to find those events that they're creating and putting on their various platforms.
Yeah. So I guess I hadn't thought about, people do things different than me. No, people actually do things differently than I do.
It's weird.
It's such an odd concept.
Foreign.
So yeah, but it's giving people as many options as possible. I note the possibility of having your Olympic sports on streaming just so that you can have people watch those if they need to. They're not really a money generator, but it's something that I think should be important to a conference, is get that exposure for all sports in addition to maximizing the exposure of the revenue generating sports. Obviously, getting football and men's basketball on CBS and at minimum like CBS Sports Network, that's a big step forward for the conference.
Teresa Gould, as mentioned earlier this morning, mentioned there were 3 things that the Pac-12 was really looking for in their media partner. So we already know that CBS checks these boxes. And will there be other platforms that will also check all of these boxes? But some of her comments about what the conference was looking for in its media partnership.
One of them, obviously, is incredible exposure. CBS is a leader in the sports industry and provides incredible reach and an incredible platform for us to show the world what the new Pac-12 is going to be. Secondly, we were looking for, strong financial support and economics. In this day and age of college sports, supporting high-level, nationally relevant competitive programs certainly takes money, and we're pleased that we have the opportunity with CBS to support our programs at a high level and really get the value of what we believe our programs are worth. And then thirdly, we were really looking for a transformational partner, a partner that as we launch into this new landscape of college athletics, this new model, this new framework that we're all living under, that we had a partner that would really support us and collaborate with us to build and launch this new league and really brainstorm about how we build something really special and different for the modern day student athlete and kind of what their expectations are in this new world of college athletics that we're living in.
So, CBS checks all of those boxes, the exposure, the opportunities to be on different platforms, and to provide some of the things that they're looking for revenue-wise to help the conference and its student athletes moving forward. So kind of interesting stuff there from Teresa Gould from the Pac-12. Before we hear more from her, definitely want to get to the Young Power Sports of Logan text line. Had some texts come through. Got this one actually. This was Friday night. Maybe
there was one from 8968 on Friday. It was kind of continuing the conversation. We were talking about Jerry West hitting like a game-winning shot or something. So providing definitely a follow-up there.
Off topic a little bit. But 2444 sent this in before the show today, this afternoon. Does this news about CBS and the Pac-12 change the outlook for the total conference media revenue? Or was this the suspected outcome that the initial projections were factoring in with the $8 to $15 million per school estimates?
Yeah, I don't think this changes any of that estimate. Again, the $15 million, I think that's probably out the window. Like there may be like incentives cooked into the media deal that could like maybe get a school up to $15 million, but I'd expect this to be in the $8 to $9 million range per school. I'd be surprised if it was outside of $8 to $9 million per school as kind of a base number. So I know that's not the most exciting number, but
it's definitely more than what Utah State was getting before. So it's still an upgrade.
It's double what they're getting now, and the Mountain West certainly isn't going to be matching that.
No.
So,
and part of this deal too, when you look at some of the terms of this deal with CBS, you look at it like this was, some of the things were pretty similar to what the Mountain West had. So did they just steal the Mountain West media deal out from underneath them?
That's one of the thoughts that I kind of have, and other people have kind of noticed that too. And obviously mentioned it earlier in the segment here that CBS is / maybe was the primary partner for the Mountain West. They carried something like 55 football and men's basketball games, like minimum per season. And, also had the Mountain West Conference Tournament Championship game on CBS, that main station. So what happens now? You're probably, I don't know if it's going to be quite the same volume for CBS with the Pac-12, but there is a lot of time slots that are now filled by the Pac-12 that aren't going to be there for the Mountain West. So what does the Mountain West do? Like Fox is their secondary partner, but Fox has a lot invested in isn't the Big Ten? Isn't that the one they're really close with? So they were a secondary partner with the Mountain West. They may not, I kind of speculated in an article that I've got coming out soon here where like maybe Fox and CBS would flip as like Fox is the primary partner, but would they have enough inventory to fill to be a primary partner with how much they invest into the Big Ten? I don't know. I haven't really studied this super carefully, but it's going to make things a little tricky for the Mountain West to extract the most value and exposure out of their media deal, and could end up being a big win for the Pac-12, or maybe they cripple their biggest competitor here in the Western U.S., where the Pac-12 just has the best media deal by far. And maybe it ends up making it easier to poach from the Mountain West down the line.
Yeah.
Say a UNLV or an Air Force if they wanted to poach those two.
You mentioned inventory. This is something that Teresa Gould did mention, is that in discussions with different media partners, the Pac-12 is not a big league in comparison to some others. So it doesn't quite have the same just total volume of opportunities for media partners. But it does mean that that those media partners can be a little bit more selective, and just in which games they really want to highlight. So that will be interesting going forward how they look at that. But another quick text here before we hit a quick timeout from 9315. The easiest way to not have to buy a million different memberships is just buy all the tickets for televised games, home and away for the Aggies. If you're there live, no need even for a TV, just thinking how amazing it would be for all us fans and Jason and Eric. So I guess that's in reference to paying for a subscription to these various different services.
I mean, I haven't watched a Utah State football or men's basketball home game on TV for like 2 or 3 years now, because I'm at all of them. So
yeah,
so it works for me. Like, I don't have, of course, then I have to get the subscription to watch, or usually I just watch it here at the station. So
yeah, big news today. The Pac-12 announcing that it has selected CBS as its anchor media partner. But it does say that there will be others involved. And there's something else that it included in there that's kind of interesting, that it says from the Pac-12, some language in there about future expansion. So we'll get into that coming up after this timeout here on the Full Court Press.
This is Brent Wallace with Cache Valley Bank, and we understand that concerns about fraud can weigh heavily on you. Your peace of mind is important to us. That's why we're committed to looking out for you and your family. Our team keeps a vigilant eye on your account, and if you ever have concerns or need support, we're just a call or visit away. Whether you need advice or just someone to talk to, our friendly staff is ready to help. We're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors, and we care about your security. Visit your local branch today. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning wants to help Cache Valley feel the love. Mountain Valley Heating and Air is giving away 5 fully installed heating and air conditioning units free of charge. Go to mountainvalleyhvac.com and help make a difference one home at a time. That's mtnvalleyhvac.com. Nominate prior to September 1st, 2025. See website for all details.
Hi, I'm Emily Peterson, founder of Serenoni Luxury Blankets and Gifts. My husband Nathan and I started Serenoni right here in Logan over 18 years ago to raise money for our daughter's surgery. And thanks to this incredible community, we've grown one blanket, one family at a time. We still design, personalize, and ship every order from our Logan warehouse because this isn't just where we started, it's home. Come shop our new store on 10th West, right next to iFit in Logan. Serenoni, born in Logan, wrapped in gratitude.
Honey, the garage door won't close again.
It's the sun hitting the sensors. I just fixed this.
Toilet paper rolls are not a fix. Is there something we can do?
Actually, yeah. Advanced Garage Door has these new sunshades that block direct light from the garage door sensors. Let me give Mason a call.
Is your garage door not closing? We can fix that. Call Advanced Garage Door at 435-255-6725. That's 435-255-6725. Or visit us at advancedgaragedoors.com.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Medicare can seem complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Let us help. We'll answer all your questions and get you specific information that fits your needs. Medicare is not one size fits all. We'll help you find the right coverage for you. Call 752-9493. You can ignore the TV and the junk mail. We'll get you the exact information you need. We will help you access the benefits that are important to you. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
It doesn't matter who you root for. The Full Court Press has all the high school sports covered. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
We've got some significant breaking news tonight.
We got some breaking news.
The latest in conference realignment on the Conference Realignment and Expansion Show.
Apologies, I'm late on this.
Well, we weren't talking about expansion and realignment until just now.
That's true. This is the next segment here in this to talk about this release today from the Pac-12 announcing their media deal with CBS. In the release that was sent out today, it says, and I quote, "The extended partnership with CBS Sports is inclusive of one additional football playing all sports member of the new Pac-12 conference." So they're fully aware, CBS is fully aware that there is one more school on the way and will be a part of it. And Teresa Gould, she talked about that as well. Again, this is from a podcast earlier today with Yogi Roth. Why Option? The Y Formation.
Y Option podcast.
I keep getting it backwards.
Again, with Yogi Roth.
So, yes, these are her comments about now the Pac-12 can turn its attention more fully to expansion.
Now that we have our anchor partner done and announced, we absolutely are in conversations and will continue conversations with prospective members to take the next step. Probably not the final step around future membership, but at least solidify the next step and that 8th all sports member to be able to fulfill our FBS requirements and get a football schedule done.
Yeah, get a football schedule done for next year. But two interesting things there. It's the next step, not the final step. So the Pac-12 needs to get to 8 soon for a variety of reasons, but they're not going to be settled with just 8, is the way I interpreted what she just said.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's kind of been some of the reporting, at least a while ago. Like there's been the talk of like get that one more. But pretty early on, after that initial wave where it was the 4 from the Mountain West, then the 5, then Gonzaga, even after that kind of initial, when they got up to 7, it was, we're not just going to go to 8. They're going to go to, I don't know, as many as they can add until they feel comfortable. There's not really enough room for them to go anywhere close to like the 18 or 20 that a lot of the conferences in the East have. But I think getting back up to 10 or 12 could be something they could feasibly do. But yeah, for now, the goal is get a conference that can stay solvent beyond July 2026. That's goal number one, job number one. It's number one on the to-do list now. Now that you got the media deal kind of maybe done, go out there, get that 8th full member school, get this conference to a point where it can actually, live up to all the requirements. And after that, they're going to figure things out. And that's where like you could end up seeing this be an 8-member conference until the end of this media rights deal, where then maybe they push to add 2 to 4 more schools. That could be the timeline, or they could add 1 or 2 more schools during the life of the media rights deal. That's a possibility, but I do wonder if they're positioning themselves for the next 5 years and then make another push once they're in a stronger position, because I think that's where the conference has kind of gone wrong, is they thought they were in a much stronger position, and they weren't. They're in a stronger position than the Mountain West. They're probably in a stronger position than the American, especially an American if they didn't have Memphis. But I think they assumed they were like this already borderline power conference and they could just take whoever they wanted and everyone would jump, no questions asked. And that didn't happen because questions were asked. And a couple of teams balked and others were hesitant. So the Pac-12 kind of has to slow the roll a little bit. But things are still rolling, and that's kind of the key.
Yeah, there was actually an interesting question about this this timeline, which we've been talking about. We keep talking about how June 30th is kind of an important date. Earlier, it was June 1st was a really important date, and it's kind of been moved a little bit to June 30th.
All the dates keep moving that are important.
Yeah, because July 1, calendar kind of resets, and it starts to get more expensive for schools to get out of their current deals with their current conferences. And Teresa didn't, or Commissioner Gould didn't seem to be too locked in about the importance of getting things done before June 30th.
We're 13 months out from the launch, and we do need to start to get schedules solidified and figure out, our approach to championships and all those things. I do think we're uniquely suited in that regard because of everything that's changing around us. We have an opportunity to really create something new and different than other leagues. So certainly we want to move these conversations along in a timely fashion to inform our strategy and our operational approach. But there is no hard and fast timeline or deadline. And relatively speaking, all of these prospects are on different timelines with their own conference commitments.
That's true, because some schools, they have to give a 27-month notice before they leave. So technically she's correct, but realistically, there's still a clock here if you don't want the Pac-12 to have to pay, or the whatever that school is to have to pay a lot more. So there is incentive to move and make an announcement sooner rather than later.
Yeah, all of these deadlines can technically be fixed with enough money. The one deadline that truly absolutely matters and there's no getting around is July 1, 2026, or maybe technically June 30th, 2026. You don't have 8 football playing members by that date, you're done.
Yeah.
That's the one date they can't get around. Everything else, I guess technically you could sign all the paperwork and probably get someone on board June 25th of 2026. But you'd be ruffling a lot of feathers and paying a lot of money to do so.
Well, how do you put a football schedule and all the other athletic schedules together with just weeks to prepare? It's impossible.
Yeah, but if you throw enough money at it, you could fix it. But when we talk about deadlines, we're talking about practical deadlines. And sure, the only real deadline is next year. But as we've been saying all winter and all spring and now through the first few days of summer, you need to be getting stuff done sooner rather than later. And they're getting stuff done now, finally, at last. They have the backbone of a media partnership. You got your anchor, partnership, whatever you want to call it, transformational, all this, PR buzzword stuff. You got that. That's your first step, and it's a big one. And so it's good to see that. Now you got to start taking a few more big steps, because the time for taking baby steps was 5 months ago. You're taking big steps now because you got to get this done. But they are now starting to get it done. So it's good to see. And we will likely see. At this point, I would be surprised if we didn't see at least some kind of announcement or report, solid report, of who that 8th football playing school will be.
Yeah, it appears to be swirling around Texas State.
Yeah, it very much seems to be Texas
doesn't seem
State.
to be anyone else that seems to be talked about with the same level of interest as Texas State. I still think UT San Antonio would be a great option, but I
know the kind of backwoods of Twitter were kind of rumbling with guys saying they have sources that there's another one, like there'll be an 8th, but then there's also a 9th. Some trying to be cryptic and saying it's UNLV, others just being cryptic about it's somebody, but I wouldn't necessarily trust them. Not that they're untrustworthy people, but it's we got to temper our expectations here.
Right.
There's some people that are going to be saying, there's because we've heard these rumors before, UNLV is definitely going, or this school is definitely going. We've heard all those rumors before, and then they didn't happen. The closest we've gotten to concrete report is Texas State, like ESPN saying Texas State is the heavy favorite. Others reporting similarly. So I know there's rumblings elsewhere on Twitter, but don't get too excited about that unless something official comes out.
Yeah, and there's always the possibility that Sacramento State is looking for somebody to sponsor them.
See, that would be the ultimate.
Extend the invite.
That would be the ultimate. People are saying, because that's what these rumors were. Is there's going to be an 8th, and then there's a 9th one as well. And it's is it going to be UNLV? Is it going to be Air Force? Is it going to be somebody else? What if it's Sacramento State? That'd be almost hilarious. It would be the greatest week that Sacramento State has ever had, because especially after the rough week they had last week.
Oh yes.
Where, they're puffing up their chest, acting like they're the bee's knees. And then suddenly it was no, you're not. And you talk about all the NIL you have raised, but all of that is contingent on them being in the Pac-12.
They're just pledges.
So they don't have $40 million in NIL over the next 10 years or whatever the timeline was supposed to be. So all you got at this point is you got Mike Bibby as your basketball coach of a team that went 13-19 last year, and a football team that went 3-9 last year. So that's what Sacramento State is right now, despite all of the boasting that they're doing. They're stuck in junior varsity, as their university president would call it.
That's true. So yeah, the options are limited, but there are options. And once you get to that 8 and get things solidified, then they can look at, okay, what other fish can we go after? Maybe even some bigger fish that now that they see what our media deal is in place, give them enough notice to get out of what they need to do without causing an arm and a leg. Then as it builds itself as the next best out of the P4 system, then the Pac-12 can be a little bit more appealing to some other options out there.
Yeah, because that's what they really need to establish. Because, again, as I was saying earlier, I think the Pac-12 really got ahead of itself and just assuming that the prestige of the Pac-12 and all this stuff would automatically attract. And to some degree it did, because it got Boise State and Fresno and Colorado and San Diego State and Utah State in the door. It did. They did have something, but not as much as they thought they did, which I guess is kind of classic Pac-12. They always think they're better than what everyone else
always
thinks
tend to
they
overvalue themselves, yeah.
Yeah. But now that they've got this, they kind of bit off a little bit more they can chew. But now that they're very likely going to solidify themselves, they're going to get to that 8 minimum. Now's when you solidify yourself over the next few years, really become what you've been promising. You're promising being that fringe power conference, that best of the rest conference. Go out and really establish yourself as that. Go out and have a year where you put like 5 or 6 teams, 5 or 6 of your like 9 schools in the NCAA tournament. Go put most of your conference in a bowl game. Like, go do those things. Go prove that you have the best of the West, barring, some of the teams that are in the Big Ten out on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Once they prove that, and everyone's going to see it because it's going to be on CBS and it's going to be on these other networks like maybe the CW or ESPN, that's when you're really going to set yourself up well for 2030. And perhaps, I know right now the media deal isn't looking as great monetarily as a lot of people were hoping. They were hoping for $15 million. It's going to be a little more than half that. So it's not going to be spectacular that way. But it's still a lot better than you were, and you can set yourself up for a really good next media deal. So there are disappointments to this, but there are a lot of positives to this as well. And so don't focus on the negatives of maybe it's not going to be as high media evaluation. Mind you, it could still be good, I guess. But I don't get your hopes too high up. But I think it's still, starting with this CBS, being on CBS, you're setting the foundation to actually fulfill the promises of what the rebuilt Pac-12 was trying to be.
If you want to weigh in, always love to hear from you on our Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 435-339-0321. Also remind you about Young Power Sports of Logan, which has a brand new service center, can handle any make, any model, 100% of the time. They're trained technicians. They know Can-Am, Kawasaki, KTM, Polaris, Sea-Doo, and a whole lot more. They know those vehicles inside and out, those machines. And they work with any brand, any model. Go check out their brand new service center and check them out, and they'll get it back going in peak condition. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. You're on the Full Court Press.
Are you looking for compassionate and reliable care for yourself or a loved one? Look no further than Aegis Home Health and Hospice. I'm Tom Sherlock, a licensed social worker, part of the dedicated team of professionals committed to meeting the needs of our community. Voted best in Northern Utah 2 years in a row, we pride ourselves on delivering exceptional service that you can depend on. We're here to ensure comfort and dignity every step of the way. When it comes to your health, choose the agency that Northern Utah trusts the most. Choose Aegis. Visit myaegis.com or call today 435-723-9000.
Express Tire, tires for less. In and out with zero stress. Express Tire, tires for less. In and out with zero stress.
Any brand, any size.
The patio is open. The chips are endless. Drinks on tap. You know it's got to be Cafe Sabor, Cache Valley's best Mexican restaurant, gold winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Experience Locals Day every Thursday with a huge burrito, endless chips and soda, only $7.95. That's a complete lunch for just $7.95. Finding any lunch under $10 is nearly impossible. Every Thursday, drinks, chips, and massive burrito, just $7.95. The patio, the sun, the fun at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station on 6th Weston Center in Logan.
At Adams Wealth Advisors, they believe that successful wealth management is all about planning. And whether you've done a lot of planning or a little, Adams Wealth Advisors is here to help. If you're transitioning a business, searching for the most up-to-date tax strategies, need help managing investments, or need help with estate planning, Adams Wealth Advisors has your back. Visit adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com for more information or to schedule an appointment.
The Sportsman on Main Street is loaded with great clothing, shoes, and equipment. This is Mark inviting you to come in and check out our awesome store. For 71 years, we have outfitted you, whether you are going on the trail or to the theater. Trust me, you won't see yourself coming and going as we work hard to have some of the most unique clothing and shoes you will see anywhere. If it's a bike, skis, or a unique clothing and shoes, I promise we will take care of you only at the Sportsman on Main Street in historic downtown Logan with tons of free parking in the back.
Do you have a fireplace or stove that isn't working right? Why wait until next winter to get it fixed? Get ahead of the game and get your fireplace or stove serviced now by Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They service everything from Quadra-Fire pellet stoves to heat and glow fireplaces. Get a 20% discount on your next service and labor when you mention this ad. Call 752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Join the show by calling 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning wants you to feel the love as they give away and install 5 new furnace and air conditioners to families in need this year. Mountain Valley Heating and Air, they're donating a full HVAC system, the equipment, the materials, and the installation services. They're not just giving it away to anybody. They wanted to give it away to deserving families who need a little extra support, but they need your help to do that. So you need to go on and nominate a family that's in need today. Nominations are open all summer, but don't wait. Just go on there and get it done now. And you can nominate them by going to mtnvalleyhvac.com, MTN short for mountain, mtnvalleyhvac.com. Click on the Feel the Love tab and help a deserving family get a working and functional HVAC system. Interesting discussions about the Pac-12 with a new media deal, at least their anchor partner, their premier partner, as they're calling it, but they flat out said there will be other partners involved. This is a phased approach, and also in their release said that this media deal was agreed upon, knowing that there will be one more football playing all sports member. So the conference knows it, CBS knows it, the public just doesn't know it just yet. Getting to our Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 8968. If I'm not mistaken, Mike Bibby was a basketball coach at Weber State years ago and kind of washed out.
As far as I know, he wasn't.
I don't remember Mike Bibby being at Weber State.
No, unless still like the system. But I was Googling it real quick, and as far as I know, he's obviously played in the NBA, but then he was like a G League coach, I think, for a time. So I don't think he's had any college job. I mean, obviously he hasn't really been involved in college since he was playing at Arizona back in the late 90s. But yeah, like Weber State, they had Randy Ray for the longest time, and up until like 3 years ago, and they got Eric Duft, their most recent coach. Is he still there? He had a pretty bad season last year. I don't know if they kept him around. He did go 20-12 a couple years ago, so it's not like terrible.
Yeah.
But they put Dylan Jones in the NBA. I was thinking Dylan Brooks. I was like, no, that's a different player.
And he's on the was he on the roster for Oklahoma City?
I believe he just became an NBA champion.
He just became a champion. So Game 7 last night, it was exciting up until Tyrese Halliburton. Even after Halliburton tore his Achilles, Indiana kept it close through halftime, but in the third quarter, OKC just pulled away. Just too many turnovers, not solid enough ball handling, suffocating defense for OKC. They pull away. They win it. Good for them. Yeah. And viewership was great. Apparently the numbers are out, and viewership very solid for Game 7, which the NBA was definitely hoping for based on how some of the other ratings had been materializing for the earlier games. But
yeah, it was set to be one of the lowest watched finals basically ever, at least since they've really been keeping track of it. But yeah, just despite the kind of disappointment that was the game itself, we got a good series out of this. The Tyrese Halliburton tearing his Achilles and going to miss all of next season. That is like legendary levels of disappointment and bad luck. Like, have that happen to you early in a Game 7. I tell you, I was rooting for the Pacers about as much as I could in that situation. In that situation, I'm usually just rooting for a good game. I wasn't really rooting for one team over the other. But for the storybook aspect, it would have been perfect for Indiana to win that one. But unfortunately, life isn't a storybook in that sense. So the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I viewed as the better team this whole series, they end up winning. And whether or not they would have won without Tyrese Halliburton, that's something that's just going to be left up to the debate stage. There's nothing we can really do to determine how that would have gone. It's just going to go down as a what if. I know Pacers fans, they're all going to say they would have won if Halliburton had played. Who knows? Maybe they're right. But in the end, we got ourselves a really good series, a really fun series. We have a great Oklahoma City Thunder team that's going to be good for several years. I know people are talking about, it's a dynasty, because anytime a young-ish team wins a championship, they're the next dynasty. Even though there have only been there's barely been any dynasty. And mind you, we're on our 7th champion in 7 years, or 8th champion in 8 years. So
that's right.
Good luck on getting a dynasty in this modern NBA. But most of his dynasties are just a lot less common these days, especially in the NBA. And
especially into the new CBA.
Yeah, into the new CBA.
Which makes it hard to keep teams together.
Yeah. I should say the NFL. I was thinking the NFL, but the NFL's had the Chiefs in the Super Bowl for 4 straight years. So they're a dynasty in themselves. But yeah, it's what's almost as disappointing for the Pacers in losing Tyrese Halliburton is you'd think, okay, they'd be a team primed to go at it again next year. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They're in the NBA Finals this year. 1 game away from winning it all. And Halliburton's going to miss all of next season. So next season's kind of a wash for them, when maybe they could have tried to get back to the NBA Finals, make something happen. Unfortunately, that's pretty unlikely. But the Thunder, they could very well do it again next year. Obviously, this offseason is going to come down to how much of this team are they going to be able to keep. Because with the Denver Nuggets, when they won it a few years ago, they won it and then they lost several key pieces. They kept some of them, but apparently not enough of them, and they've struggled to get back. So it'll be interesting to see, but for now, enjoy it, Oklahoma City. I'll say this, I'm technically a native of Oklahoma. I was born there.
Ah, there you go.
So I have some of my own ties there. Justin Bean, he was an Oklahoma City Thunder fan because he's from Moore, Oklahoma. So, yeah, I think very well deserved. I know Seattle Supersonics fans are, punching their walls, but...
Yeah, but you're right. This is a young team from Oklahoma City. They it looks like they could be set up to do this for some time, but eventually guys win championships and they start thinking that they're worth more. And so, can they keep this team together under the same price point, or will some guys say, I need to go, try my hand somewhere else on my own? But this team does look like it has great team chemistry. So that will be interesting to see how well that maintains, because now next year there will be high expectations. There weren't any expectations on Oklahoma City last year. They played great, and it was a fun team to watch, but the expectations were on other teams. They didn't have any expectations really until the very end. We're like, okay, you got the best record in the West, so you probably should be the team that goes deep into the playoffs. But even then, I don't think the expectations were high.
Yeah, which is
Oklahoma City would be the team to win it all.
Which I think contributes to the disappointment, because you're a 68-win team. All the pressure should be on you. Everyone should be talking about them and saying, are they going to win? And especially when they did really well in their first round series, where they
set an NBA record for point differential.
It's this is one of the best teams in NBA history. You could probably put this team in the top 5 or 6, especially in the modern era, 3-point era. This is literally one of the best teams in NBA history. Put them up there on par. Whoever you think is the best team in NBA history, these guys are pretty much on par with them. And nobody was willing to talk about it until probably now. They'll write a bunch of features and things like that. But that's the thing we just witnessed. It's one of the greatest teams in NBA history. And that's what's the frustrating thing when we've been talking about ratings and all that. It's that's literally who this is.
Quickly from the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 8968. Bibby was a basketball, coach in the early 80s. So I just looked up during the break the list of coaches for Weber State. There has not been a Mike Bibby who was a coach. Maybe you're thinking of
unless there's a different Bibby,
a dad or anything like that. Mike Bibby was not coaching in the 80s.
He was a player in the 90s.
Yeah, but
so
no, there
could be a different Bibby.
I just looked at their full list of coaches, and there was not a Bibby who was a coach at Weber State.
Yeah.
Quick timeout. We'll be right back on the Full Court Press to see how well we did with predicting what would happen this weekend with Pick 6.
Rely now on a York Affinity Premium Comfort System to keep your home cool and comfortable. The new Affinity systems are smarter and more connected and more efficient than ever before. And you can cut your energy costs by as much as 50%. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, to schedule a free system evaluation. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning showroom is west of DI and online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Boom! It's Daryl's Appliance Independence Day Sale. This is Jay with Daryl's. Get 12 months, no interest financing, up to 40% off select appliances, Whirlpool, GE, Maytag, and more. We've got the lowest prices and the best service in the valley. And get this, 4 stores in one. Sales, service, parts, warranty, all under one roof. So head west on Airport Road and celebrate with us at Daryl's Appliance. Experience the Daryl's difference today. Listen for a live radio remote Saturday from 10 to 1.
They can put your logo on it because that's what they do at the Logo Shop. They can put your logo on anything from pens and mugs to golf balls and clocks. The Logo Shop is also the place for your team shirts and uniforms. So if your team wants to look good, call the Logo Shop and order your team uniforms today. Colors, logo, and everything else looking just like you want it to. Get your team shirts and uniforms from the Logo Shop. Call them to get a bid or just drop by 40 South Main in Logan.
The Logo Shop. Logo Stop. The Logo Shop.
No matter what the conditions, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle up and off your property. Now is the time to plan to make extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage and moving that old vehicle. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
We had a nice reprieve over the weekend, but the weather is going to be warming back up again. It's summer. It does that. So make sure you've got your vehicle ready for that. Do you have a right kind of Napa battery that can handle the heat? Like a Napa Legend or Napa AAA batteries are available with the $25 rebate on Bosch lithium-ion batteries at Napa Auto Parts. And if you're not sure, you can even get it tested to make sure if it needs to be replaced or not. Just go check it out at any of the locally owned Napa Auto Parts between Preston and Providence. So on Thursdays, we do Pick 6. We try to predict what will happen for the upcoming weekend. I have 3 lines. Jason has 3, and we have a tiebreaker in the midst. Mm-hmm. So how well did we do, Jason?
Not too bad. So let's start with this line. The lines that I had: Oklahoma City in Game 6, they were 6.5-point favorites. I picked Indiana to cover that. You took Oklahoma City. Well, Indiana won Game 6, forced Game 7. So I get that one. Next, we have the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. I asked, will one of the Porsche GT cars win? And, well, the number 911 Porsche driven by Kevin Estre did cross the line in first place after 141 laps of the 13-mile course. But he was assessed a 100-second penalty.
Oh.
So he ended up taking second, and the number 98 BMW took that. And you said that a Porsche would win, and I said no. So 2-0 up for me. Next, we have Caitlin Clark. Over under 21.5 points against the Valkyries on Thursday. I took the under, you took the over. She only had 11. She had like 9 assists and 7 rebounds, but only 11 points. So I'm up 3-0 going into your line.
This is not looking very good.
It's not looking good. NL East leader as of Monday morning. You said it would be the Phillies. I said it would be the Mets. It is the Phillies. They currently, there's some games starting now, but they were the leader in the NL East as of this morning.
As of this morning, yeah.
Next, Real Madrid by 1.5 goals over Pachua, I think it was, or I forget how to say it, but we both took Madrid, and they did win 3-1. So we both got that one. So it's 4-2 now. And then Team USA shots on goal against Haiti. You set the line at 6.5. We both took the over. And while the U.S. won 2-1, they only had 6 shots on goal. So we both missed that one.
Close.
But in the end, I win 4-2. I'm back on top.
I just couldn't stay in the winner's circle for too long.
No, not for very long. So now I'm like 8 out of the last 9 or something like that. One of these days I'll like do a tally like for like an entire year and just like keep track of how many each of us win and see if...
I don't think I want to see that number.
Well, you always win. Like when we do like the picking the football game results, you always kick my butt in that. Like you're just like way ahead of me in that. But apparently pick 6 is where I got your number.
Yeah, there you go. The interesting day today with the Pac-12 making their media deal announcement with CBS. More details on CashValleyDaily.com. Jason, you've put a piece together kind of comparing this new deal and what the Mountain West has been getting, just to provide some context to the announcement today.
Yeah, especially when the details eventually come out later, because obviously it's partial, but it's kind of a refresher for all of us.
Yeah, so go check that out on CashValleyDaily.com. Tomorrow, we've got a special invitation to go watch some Utah State men's basketball tomorrow morning, so we will be reporting on how that went and what our observations are of this new team. Speaking of which, John Rothstein reporting today that Utah State and VCU will face each other in Frisco, Texas on November 7th.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. June was supposed to be unforgettable for the Pacers, and it was, but not for the reasons anyone in Indianapolis had hoped for. Losing in Game 7 stings. That's just the nature of the sport. But what happened to the Pacers in the NBA Finals went deeper. Not only did they fall just short of the first title in franchise history, but they may have also lost their franchise cornerstone. Tyrese Halliburton, the heartbeat of the Indiana Rise, went down with what appears to be an Achilles tear. It's the kind of moment that quiets even the loudest arenas. Everything was on the line. Pride, legacy, health, hardware. The Pacers left it all on the floor. And while they showed the world that they belong among the league's elite, the final chapter of this run turned into a gut punch. Losing a series hurts. Losing your star in the process, that's a different kind of pain. One that might take a whole lot longer to recover from physically and emotionally. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.